What it do, my streaming crew? It's me, the one, the only, Art of P to the L to the O, J to the P to the L. Welcome, bienvenidos, welcome to another episode. It is Thursday, sorry I didn't stream Tuesday, but things happen, you know, life. So here I am today with you guys, going all the way live. I got a little Spotify going through the background. I'm trying to make sure my YouTube stream is streaming. But I don't think it's connecting to my YouTube, so this might just be Twitch today. And possibly Periscope. Let's double check. Continue. Darn. So I gotta link my account now, really? Allow. Yes, that's me. Okay. Let's go back here. So I might not launch my YouTube right now, but whatever. I can always upload my Twitch stream to YouTube later, and we can go from there. So welcome, bienvenidos. This is episode 11, right? Episode 11 of Random Doodles and How-Tos. So on today's episode, if you guys can see my screen split, I am gonna rock with the little magician work today. So I want to break it down, draw a little magician. I'm kind of digging magic wise. You know, we got Doctor Strange in the Marvel world, we have Zatanna and her father on the DC world, and I'm pretty sure there's tons of other characters that I can't even think of off the top of my head right now. But I figured, let's have a little fun, do a little something. I'm gonna try to see if I can get my high school account and share with my students. Let me see what happens when I go live there. Checking the connection, so everything's about to lag. Ooh, I got one viewer on Twitch. What's good? So if you guys are wondering, or you want to chop it up with me and talk it up, hit me up in the chats, whether you're on Twitch, on YouTube, Periscope, or on Instagram. Oh, everyone's waving. What up, guys? So, doing a little magic work on the iPad. I know it looks a lot different from that view on Instagram than it does on Twitch. But that's on the agenda today. Break down a little how-to with it. So artistically, we all get an understanding of what we can do and how we can increase our skills and get better at this stuff. So welcome. What up, people? Hope you guys are all enjoying this California heat, because here in Southern California, it is hot! Hot like... yeah, I'm not even going to say that because there's a fire going on. That's kind of jacked up. I actually got family dealing with that right now, so that kind of sucks. So, let's see. Click. Let's visit this photo. No. Come on, iPad, work with me. Bam. So, reference point for what I want to do with it to you guys today. So the whole idea when I draw and I do stuff myself, and right now I'm in Procreate if you guys are wondering, is that I actually like to draw from the inside out. So I like to break everything down, so you actually see the construction of everything. But I'm going to show you guys those steps right here, how I do it, how it all breaks down to shapes. Because ideally, this actually does help us all out. So let's pick a random bright color for the sake of demonstration. And then I'm going to get rid of the photo and just sketch it out using my skills that I have acquired throughout the years of continuous practice. Except if I can even draw. My hands are humid and they might get stuck to my iPad screen. So everything starts off with the shape, right? And we find the line of action. Bam. So that tells us the motion in the body. So it all starts off with a shape. So in this case, let's zoom in so you guys can see. And these are all generic, pretty much generic shapes. When it comes to drawing and the idea of art and illustration, everything that we do, and I've mentioned this before, is really these generic shapes. Whether this is a square, a rectangle, we go for the cylinder, and then we 3D it. But it's all these generic shapes that go into all this stuff, and then ta-da, it all connects, right? So let me get my little quick selection tool. Click my layers and clear that bad boy out. So like I was saying, everything is pretty much these general basic shapes that we build up with, and then we go from the eyes. We got the nose. Give her a groove nose, and then of course the shape, right? Well, I was always taught that everything in here is pretty much shapes. Got this little triangular piece that goes in here, and then it connects. And then we got these shapes here, usually spheres, that go down this way. Now the thing you always got to remember when drawing is that when we break it down, here's the bottom of the rib cage, right? Usually the elbows will go within that range. They'll connect right there. But we're at an angle, right? So this shape right here, I was always told it's like an egg shape. And then you got the rib cage. And then of course it goes with the flow of everything. And you got your abdomen section, your abs, which I don't have, never have, since I was like 5. So you got your abdomen section, and again, we got another shape coming in here. The other thing you got to understand and know when it comes to drawing is that the hips always counteract the shoulders. So the shoulders are going this way, the hips are going this way, and vice versa. And I just double tapped on the screen to undo what I just did for you guys. So again, all these little generic shapes, right? We talk about the legs. They're tapered down cylinders. So if I were to draw through everything, you can tell and see that it's a cylinder, straight up cylinder, right? And of course, as you guys practice this stuff and get better, and again, I'm gonna draw through it so you can see that everything here is pretty much a generic shape. Whether it's a sphere, triangle, a rectangle of any length that becomes in a square, it's pretty much a generic shape. Yeah, your little spheres for the knees because the legs connect this way, right? And then we got another little tapered down cylinder. The other thing you need to understand and notice is that when we're doing this art stuff, is that in most cases we'll have this shape on the outside, this shape on the inside of our legs for our calves, and then connect to our ankles and stuff. So it's that generic shape, or these lines, these movements that go into everything we do. There's always a curve and then a sharp angle that goes back and forth. So hopefully, you know, that helps, and you're like, oh, that was pretty cool. I don't know how long I'll be on. I know Instagram limits me on time. Twitch doesn't limit me. I could be on here all day, but I'm also a parent, so I gotta go take care of my kids. So again, like I said, shapes, generic, simple little shapes. And they all connect, right? And always, don't be afraid to twist your canvas around when you're drawing. Seriously, don't. Don't be scared. If it's your sketchbook, turn that bad boy around so you get a feel, so you get those angles better, so you get those cleaner lines. But again, like I said, it's these generic shapes, they all connect together. Almost Lego-like. If you ever remember those old school Legos, the Bionicles, kind of like that. Or let me get this thing out. Come on, for sake of demonstration. I know my Twitch streamers, you can't see this, but my Instagrammers can. You see? Watch him pop lock. Do the robot. But, you know, it's all pretty much shapes that connect to each other. And again, it's those cylinders. But enough of that guy. Don't want to act a fool. But like I said, it's all pretty much generic shapes that connect into everything. And you always want to be able, you always want to draw through your stuff. That's why, like, for example, if I go into my gallery and we look at some of my past sketches from my past streams, I break everything down to shapes and I draw through everything. So I make sure everything looks right. This bad boy looked pretty bad when I first started sketching him out. Wasn't digging the pose, redid it. But that's the cool thing about this, now having this digital option. If I was on a regular piece of paper, I would have probably thrown that paper away and tried to start it over. So we got like the general shapes, right? And that's what they are, just shapes. Shapes that connect into everything, right? Same thing with the hands, right? So if we look at the hands, well, we got this shape here. Let me make this smaller. We got this shape here. This shape here. And then we got the shapes for our fingers. Which it really all is shapes. Now if we're looking at the hands straight forward like this or like this, Our hands aren't square, so let me increase my pencil. They're not square. If you look at our hands, they really aren't. Our hands kind of have this angle to them. If I flip it this way, then it's this angle to them. Bam. See? It's not a straight square. It's bam, bam, and then we got these shapes right here. But again, it's all shapes. I gotta wave back to all these people. Mercy wink. Okay, cool. Bam, 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 bam. So, hopefully, that kind of it's a cool little how-to to, as you practice and you discover the shapes, then obviously you have a better understanding of what goes where. But they are all these shapes. And this goes this way because we draw through it all. So, as you guys see, the breakdown is pretty cool. And if I get rid of this all completely, so let me clear that layer. I'm going to change the face angle because the artist in me wants to change the face angle. I saw my reference right there on the side. And you guys ever noticed, whether it's one of my streams or you've watched me sketch in person, I love sketching with the blue pencil. And I don't even have any on my desk right now because I actually started switching them up to mechanical pencils with blue lead. But, oh, found one. They look like so. Little coil erase pencil. I actually have boxes of these. Or mechanical pencils. So, like I said, we have our reference. I showed you the breakdown, so that was my how-to. And now let's bring that idea to life, right? And the cool thing that I end up doing when I'm in Procreate, I'm on my iPad, is I usually start off kind of big, and then I shrink my idea down, and then start adding the other pieces. So, like, I'm not digging the way the face is going, or the angle of it, because I want the person to be staring at us. So, let's increase this bad boy. Because we got to capture that action. Bam, bam. And I could always mess with it, because that's the cool thing about art, is as long as I understand the anatomy of the human body and the principles behind like drawing and stuff from my animation background, is I can squash and stretch and stylize. And then it comes out pretty cool. And then we have that, oh, nice. Hey, look, that says hi. So, like I showed you guys in the breakdown, the ribs, got the hips, we got the leg, bam, and this one's kind of more straight down, so like so. And again, since it's a rough, quick sketch, I can improve on this, right? I can take it a whole nother level. But like I said, it's almost there. So, I got my rough idea down. And like I said, rough. So let's zoom in, right? Now I want to figure out the expression, what I'm going to do with the actual face. And I'm going to probably still have to move stuff around. So let me take this first. Take that. That's the base shape for my head. Let's move it up. Give me some space. And now they're going to be looking at us. And this is still rough. You can tell by the size of my pencil that I'm just trying to work out an idea. And I'm already seeing stuff. I'll move stuff. Maybe the head this way more. Get my pencil active again. And everything connects to the human body. The neckline is going to connect to the rib cage. You know, and the arms are going to connect to the rib cage, the shoulders. They all connect. Now this magical, crazy connection. And just like I showed in the demo, I still do that even when I'm roughing out my idea and I'm trying to stylize something. And I'm trying to work out the pose. And I'm trying to figure out what parts of the body, for example, squash and stretch. Since they're going at the angle, we got our squash here, we got our stretch here. So that emphasizes the dynamics of the pose. So hopefully that makes sense to those of you watching. And then of course, the facial expression. Since I'm drawing a female face, I'm gonna make sure, that my edges are a little bit softer, not so harsh. The only time I'd use like a hard edge is when I'm drawing a male character, because you're supposed to have that softer edge. And again, everything is shapes. Even when I have to do the nose and stuff like that, it all breaks down to shapes and understanding the angles. And again, once I get everything the way I want to, then I'll zoom out, do a new layer, do a whole different set of colors on top of it, and then go from there. Like I said, don't be afraid to rotate your canvas. Ain't nothing wrong with rotating your canvas. It'll help you work out your pose better. And your lines. Like to just have it stuck like this and try to nail everything. With all these years of drawing, it's just, I find it hard to not move the paper around. And I was honestly contemplating what to like stream for today, because I have 2 pieces that I'm doing for an art show that I gotta get knocked out by the 22nd of August, so I can drop it off and then they do what they do with it. So I was like, do I just work on my art show pieces on my stream today? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And well, those art pieces are already all sketched out and starting to be rendered, so it'd be more of a conversation the whole time. But I was hoping if I did this and I taught a few things, you picked up a few drawing examples and what to do, then bam, here we go, we got something. So again, we got my squash and stretch here, figuring out the angles of the pose. And like I said earlier, if you're just catching on, usually the hips are opposite of the shoulders. That's why the shoulders are kind of going up one way and the hips are going up the other way, to counterbalance the pose, to add the extremes to it, to make it more interesting. And I actually charged my iPad today, so it's got some juice. To add to this. The cool thing about digital art is you can slightly cheat a little bit and work stuff out. God, it's warm today. I also use up a lot of energy when I do stuff like this, because I get all into it, man. I get animated. Just work out the pose. Probably change up the hands a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't digging the face, so I'll just do something else, because I can. My shapes for the hand. I know that's kind of ugly, but it's rough right now. It's okay. I don't like it when my iPad fluctuates color. Humidity is evil. Yes. And I've been to Florida before, so I kind of know what this humidity stuff does to us. Say those are in the shadows. And I'll come back and fix that. Whew! Bam. And because of copyright issues, I'm not listening to like no legit Spotify playlist. Not that this isn't legit. This is an NCS playlist, no copyright sounds. So then I can use it without getting in trouble. Some of my past ones, I was listening to like top 40s and they're like, nope, we can't let your video play. I was like, gosh darn it, not cool, man. There's those shapes again. Coming through and connecting. Might adjust that later. But it's all, again, you know, when it comes to this art stuff, it's breaking it down into these shapes to get everything in place. I've read, and from experience, that if you can break down anything into these basic generic shapes, then you can draw something from any angle because you understand the complexity of something that starts off like this, but then you do this, and then you're good to go. Same thing if it was a sphere. Get that idea so that when it comes to, I'm actually using the fat one, okay, to rendering, then you get the idea. That, my friend, is a sphere. There, I blend it out. You get that understanding because you understand these shapes and how they work and how they function. So let's clear that out. Bam. So I got my rough kind of staged out. I kind of got the hair flowing. Not that color. I'm assuming there's some type of hair thing happening because they're about to throw out some crazy magic spell or whatever. But yeah. So like, say this was Zatanna from the Teen Titans, then let's go mess around some more. Let's change up the color. So we got this shape here. Because of course there's the bow tie. Like so. She's got the jacket, which is going to flare out this way because she's throwing her arms out. And I'm just building on my construction, what I've already done. and because she is wearing a coat, we gotta think about how this is gonna react. Those folds and those ridges. This side probably won't be as bad because it's not as pushed out, but you still have to understand that we have these shapes here which cause the folds and the ridges to go a certain way. Bam. So hopefully that makes a little sense to you all. And then I believe there's a cummerbund. So if we're going Young Justice, then she's pretty simplified here. I'm not going to push too much here, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of excited Young Justice is coming back. Boom. And then we gotta think about the way these go. Low-key, artistically, is probably a lot of things we think about or should think about when we're drawing certain characters and their outfits and the styles and how things would match up. To go with the shape of the body. Watch out. So we get all these cool little intricacies we can add, and being that we're digital, there's so much more we can do. We can push, and I can adjust poses and do stuff. But the idea was to show you guys that breakdown of how the human figure works, that how-to, and then show you how all that stuff comes together without tracing a photo, without doing that option. Which I'm saying, you know what, as a beginning artist, trace out as much as you can, break it down to shapes. That will build muscle memory, and then bam, you're just gonna become a better individual. I took a live drawing class, no joking, where he had us trace out human figures down to the tissue, to the anatomy, like the muscle ridges and how the threads in the muscle work, so we had an understanding of how that all builds on top of the bones and those shapes that we work with. It was pretty darn cool. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty darn cool. But now hopefully this is kind of cool little breakdown for you guys. Whoops. And then my iPad does its own thing. Cool. Like if I wanted to, I can push these fingers out more, make them more exaggerated to kind of give that sense of power. So I can even bring these over here. And that one thing you'll barely see. But then it gives it more oomph to that hand. It's not just a hand, it's just power. Let me undo those sillinesses. But like I said, that's the cool thing about being able to do this digitally, is that I have these abilities to do all this stuff and then have fun with it, and hopefully entertaining, and you guys get something out of this. I know Instagram, I get some, I drop some. Twitch, I have a steady 3, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, pretty cool. The YouTubers, they're missing out because my stream didn't connect to them today. I'll just have to shoot it over that way in a few, and then add all the cool little details of what I've done. But yeah, like I said, the chats are open, whether you're on the gram or on the Twitch. If you have any questions, Don't hesitate to be like, hey, how'd you do that? You always, if you have someone's brain you can pick and you know they're where you want to be or where one day you want to be, take advantage of that. If you're at art school and you're getting taught by like some genius artist, pick their brain. If you're at work doing your work thing and you admire your boss because he's done something pretty amazing, who the heck is that? Pick their brain. Get in there and ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. Oops. For me, whenever I draw and I start the whole process, for me, once I roughly sketch everything out, it's in the face. If I can nail the face and give it a great expression and the eyes read well, then everything else is just going to come into place. I don't know, it's just something that it just happens. It's hard to explain. It's just like, ta-da, you're like, now I gotta match up the other eye. I also have to remember that it's kind of a quarter, three-quarter angle on the face, so I have to take that into consideration. And I'm saying that because of the bridge of the nose, this eye is a little bit more hidden and not as big. Yeah, definitely. This is probably a more interesting angle. The straightforward, unless the person's just walking straight at you, then it's worth looking at. If not, it's kind of boring if you think about it. Like if you ever watched a cartoon show, for my example, for my experience on The Simpsons, you never see any one of the Simpsons characters from the TV show straight on look at you. It's always at an angle. It's, like I said, more interesting. There we go. Bam. And I make adjustments on the fly as I go on this stuff. Oops. So just quick little strokes to get the hair going. Woo! Like I said, I'll probably come back and make some adjustments to this later. But just wanted to give you guys a solid demo and understanding of the how-tos of this art stuff. Because as an educator, it gets asked a lot. Like, how do you do that? Besides practice, well, here, let's show you. Let's break it down. So, I'm going to leave you guys with that for today. I think I've gone for... I can't even tell how long I've been on for. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. You've had a good time. You tell a friend. You subscribe, turn on notifications, do all that good stuff. Turn on post notifications. But I'm gonna drop off because it's getting hot in here, and the fan blowing on me is just not doing the job anymore. So with that being said, thank you for streaming, thank you for tuning in, thank you for being live with me. So what to do, my crew? I am out like shout. Deuces, see you later, alligator. Hasta luego, hasta la vista, baby. Get in the chopper, I'm out of here.